Welcome back, OIG family, to another episode in Oracle's TA, where we take a look at the technical analysis of fundamentally sound cryptocurrencies. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, and we're also going to be looking at Ethereum to see what price action has transpired since our last episode. Remember, if you like the content, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and hit the like button. And make sure you stay up to date with all the stuff coming out from OIG. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the charts. So looking at this white line here, as always, we have this marked out for the time our last episode aired, and that was on July 10th, which was this should be July 12th. So around there is when we last had our Oracle TA episode. So everything past that is new price action. And it's very clear, once we zoom in here, that our levels are being respected, which is very key. It's also good to note that we've added some level, one level in particular, which is this new daily level. So this has acted as support and has since shown really good interaction from this level. Now, last episode we outlined this key area of confluence. We had the value area, the point of control. We had our weekly level, and we also had a Fibonacci level that lined up with this area. And now we see that it has been used as support. So last episode, we saw that we had a short opportunity as price action failed to come back to that high and ultimately broke down past this daily level and entered into this range within this area of confluence. And from there, Bitcoin was still too weak to break out of it, so therefore broke down and found support on what seems to be the old triangle that we had here, and couldn't use that as support either, so finally went down to our weekly level, where we also have some confluence with a Fibonacci level, the golden pocket. And once we found support, we saw a quick rise and also an even sharper drop. Now this is interesting because this shows us a swing failure pattern from this low here. So with this low, we've set a support. We've used $18,948 as support, and since then have gone up about I believe the number was somewhere in the ballpark of 20% in the span of 5 days, which is impressive. But it also showcases the volatility of the market currently, and typically volatility increases before a major move. So why is this important? Well, since this low here, we've gone up and respected the area of confluence here and used it as support, and we've also respected this daily level here and created a new higher low. And if we and this is obviously on the shorter time frames, but higher lows could signify a potential short-term time frame market structure change, that is. And with that market structure change, we can look for more upside. But, I do notice that we have here that this is untapped, but now it has been tapped. So with that short-term market structure being changed, keeping that in mind, we can also look to what potential areas of interest we may see in the short term. And one area that I would like to see, which has been the case since we've outlined this area, since we've put in pretty much the levels for this range here, is claiming the $22,000 level. I think that Bitcoin has an opportunity here and is coiled up to really show its true colors in the next couple of days, and that's to see if we can claim above this level, use it as support, as we've failed to do in the past. And as we know that the more times resistance gets hit, the more likely it is to break, and the more likely we are to get a SR flip, which means resistance turns into support or support turns into resistance. So we see here we have 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, and now potentially 5. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. So let's go over the bullish case. If we were to see Bitcoin's price action come up above this daily at 22,552, we would want to see some sort of short-term market structure support bounce on this level. Once we see this, we can look to see for more upside. And the reason that is because that daily level is pretty much the limit for the range that we've been in for this past couple of weeks. Now, if we see that range broken, means that we can start to look at other areas of interest, which means typically areas that we've ventured into in the past. So let's just zoom out here, go on to a 1 hour time frame, and we do see that there's an old range here I have outlined in this white box. Now, if Bitcoin does break out of this range down here, right here, we can see a very, very quick move, just as quick as the one here on the way down, all the way up into that range. Now the question is, where do we see Bitcoin going from there? So obviously it'd be very interesting to see Bitcoin's interaction at this level. I'm going to set an alert for this area, but if we do see something like this and then this, then I would say it's safe to assume that we can see higher as we will establish some sort of support in this range, in this old range. So then we can start to look at levels within this range and play it by ear based on the previous levels that we've set in that local range. So again, very interesting price action, but it's also good to note that although it may seem very promising, from even zooming out, you can see that we have a low, a higher low, and a higher low. And that always means that that's the, perfect recipe for positive price action. We can also, some people are also claiming that this to be a double bottom, or an Adam and Eve pattern, which typically stands to gain more upside. But again, these are all variables that we have to look, and the safest way to play it is level by level. So for the bullish case, I'd like to see Bitcoin claim $22,552 and eventually use that as a springboard into the previous range. Now for the bearish case, which still is valid until we break this range, just like the previous time we outlined the short position, I would say that it's equally eligible to put in a short position in this area, as we have not broken it and established it as support. So it's very likely as well that we could see something like this, a rejection at this level at the daily and down to the previous daily and even down to the weekly. It's very possible. We've seen it done before and many times when Bitcoin is range bound and moving sideways. So that's something to look forward to. And it's also good to note that if this was the case, that although it's somewhat bearish to see downward price action, that would still potentially be a higher low. So ultimately it's still very bullish. We could see some sort of rising channel here, and the breakout of that could signify a very large move up, as typically that pattern has been used to gauge aggressive moves in positive price action. So that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Again, the levels have not really changed. Like I said, I've added the $20,799 level, as that is a new daily level. And it's good. It's interesting to see where Bitcoin's going to go now. It's also good to know that we will see some sort of price move within Bitcoin in the next couple of hours or days, especially because we are at a key level within this range high. And this is also setting up the rest of the market in terms of altcoins to really make a big move in the next couple of days, which is why I wanted to speak on Ethereum today, which is a little different from our usual episode. But looking at Ethereum, I mean, obviously it's not hard to see that we've had a huge gain in not more than 5 days. So 60% in 6 days, which is incredible. Obviously what goes up must come down, so I wouldn't be opening any positions in this area, as we are kind of in the middle of nowhere. And really, to set the tone for the market, we need to see Ethereum's reaction to Bitcoin's next move. So we could see something, for example, where Ethereum comes down and you test this weekly level and potentially uses it as support for higher price action. Very, very possible. And we could also see Ethereum continue its way up to the next level. Now, it's good to note that Ethereum has experienced a significant rise in a short amount of time, and typically that is followed by a correction. Now, whether that correction comes now or later is a completely different topic. However, it is good to bear in mind, or at least keep it in the back of your mind, that that is a possibility. We could easily see a correction down from here, and we could easily come back even lower to test this level here, which is a range that Ethereum was in. And also a little bit of hindsight trading, we can see that we also have a series of higher lows, although not significantly apart. We can see that we have a low, a higher low, and then a higher low, and ultimately we see takeoff. So Ethereum's price action obviously dictates the price action of altcoins within the market, and we're going to have to look at Ethereum to judge whether or not altcoins would be the right play. That being said, if you do have any altcoins that you'd like me to take a look at, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and we can get to them on the next episode. But as we've seen in the past, Ethereum's price action typically dictates the altcoin market's movement and market sentiment. So a significant rise in Ethereum's price action could mean a rise in confidence within the altcoin market, and therefore we should see some sort of aggressive moves up within the altcoin market should Ethereum continue on this trajectory. Now, it's also good to note that any retracements of price action down to support should also be noted, as if you were looking at, let's say, another altcoin and they were close to support and Ethereum was at support, then that is potentially a safe bet to open up a position, a long position, for example, within that altcoin. But nonetheless, that ends our segment for this week. So remember, if you have any questions, leave all of them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see something for the next episode, feel free to reach out to me via DM on Telegram or on our Discord. Remember, if you like the content, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and smash that like button to stay up to date with all the stuff coming out from OIG. Until next week, see you soon.